Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, Brandon About Everything. I'm Brandon, and I'm interested in everything. So today I want to talk about chakras, or start off at least with that. Um, so uh, Chakras are understood in Indian traditions, subcontinent of India, Indian traditions, mystical, philosophical, and religious traditions to be um, these these centers of where the human energy clusters. This is the seventh, sixth, fifth, fourth is at the heart, third is roughly the belly button, second is in the middle of the pelvis, and the first is at the very base of the pelvis. So they're not understood to be, or they're not welcomed within the traditional Western scientific community. However, I'm going to present to you why they're actually quite logical and they should exist based on what we understand in Western science. So, anytime you have a flow of energy, let's say a river, wherever there's a curve in that river, right at the maximum point of the curve, there's going to be an eddy, and it's going to, the direction is going to change depending on which way it's flowing. But yeah, at the peak point of that curve, there's going to be an eddy that's going to happen there. That's what's going on in your spinal, from your skull all the way down your spinal column. That's where the maximum amount of electrical energy is flowing, because your spine and your brain. So if you start down at the root chakra, the first chakra, that's going to be at the very base of your spine, the tailbone, or the very base of your pelvis. And then that's associated in traditional Indian understanding to be associated with like root, basal, security, feeling grounded, etc. And then you move up to the very back of the pelvis, at the curve of the pelvis, the back curve of the pelvis. I think that's the sacrum part of the spine. That's going to be the second chakra, which is the sacral chakra. At the lumbar curve, which is roughly the belly button, that's going to be the third chakra, or the solar plexus chakra. At the curve of the thoracic spine in your ribs here, that's going to be your fourth chakra, or your heart chakra. The curve of your cervical spine here, that's going to be your fifth chakra, which is your throat chakra. At the curve of the back of your skull here, that's going to be your sixth chakra, or your third eye chakra. And at the curve of or the very top of your skull, that's going to be your seventh chakra, or your crown chakra. So I believe that creation, you will need to go and watch that the previous two episodes for this to make sense in particular. And I will also just give a new caveat that I should have given at the beginning of the video, which is that all of this is my own understanding. I'm human, and so I'm almost certainly going to be getting something wrong. And this is all just my perspective. So with that out of the way, when God exploded God's self in the Big Bang, and every bit of creation came into being, every atom, molecule, star, planet, soul, human, animal, everything came into being. That we are all in some way like descended or children of God, the divine. And so that means that I believe we start off evolving from the root chakra, which I believe is associated with the crystalline and single cellular organism level of life. Then once you move up to the sacral chakra, which is associated with sex organs, that's whenever you get to sexual reproduction. So plants and animals that engage in sex are going to be in that second density level of chakra, or second density level of life associated with the second chakra. That when you become self-aware, you move up to your third chakra. So the third chakra is associated with your self-will and your power, your ability to assert yourself in this world. And so that self-awareness humans achieved metaphorically in the Garden of Eden, whenever we ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. We became self-aware. And that's whenever they became ashamed of their body, or not of their body, but of their nakedness of their bodies. And they needed to put on clothes. Adam and Eve did. And this represents that part of the human evolution where we did become self-aware, and now we're aware of good and evil. And what happens at this level is that we are being asked to polarize, either towards the good, which is service to others in balance with service to self, or polarize evil, and that's service to self to the neglect of service to others. And when we have polarized sufficiently, backing up, Jesus, the Christed one, told us that we need to become either hot or cold. Do not be lukewarm, for he will spit us out of his mouth if we are. And that means that we need to polarize. We need to become good or evil. In the grand long-term arch scheme, so I believe that when we make the graduation, when we sufficiently polarize and we go through a graduation event or a harvest event on a planet, we then jump into the fourth density. And depending on which path we've chosen to either polarize positive or negative, we're going to jump up to that next fourth density level of existence, but in quite a different realities, while still being in that same heart orientation. So either love of others and self with the service to others, or love of self to the neglect of others with service to self, or evil side of things. That's at the fourth density, which I believe that we are imminently about to experience. Then, once we've, this is, I don't know how long, eons, or who knows how long it'll be between jumping into the fourth density and graduating from the fourth into the fifth. But I believe in the fifth chakra, or the fifth density associated with the fifth chakra reality. That's whenever we begin to come back together, and then we are fully reunified by the sixth chakra, and then, at some point in the seventh or above, I believe that we merge back in with the divine. But so I believe that it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it matters, but we're all going to unify together. So it's a free will universe. And so if you want to polarize service to self and experience the inevitable karma that's going to come from that, then that is your free will. And it would make me sad, but it's every soul's choice to decide how they want to navigate this reality. And some souls apparently want to navigate that. With that, that is going to be all for my third episode. Hope you've enjoyed, and y'all have a good day.